The year was 2024. And the air in FedEx Field crackled with a peculiar intensity as the Washington Commanders prepared to face off against the Detroit Lions in the NFC divisional round. Fans packed the stadium to its limits. A sea of burgundy and gold clashing with blue and silver. The game was a spectacle, even before it began. But no one, not the players, the fans, or even the broadcasters, could have anticipated the events that would follow. From the opening kickoff, the game had an eerie rhythm. A strange fog, uncharacteristic for Washington in January, rolled in during the pre-game ceremonies. It clung to the field, low and dense, giving the game a cinematic, almost otherworldly ambience. The coin toss was the first oddity. It took 3 attempts before the coin finally landed on its edge. After several moments of stunned silence, the referee decided to let the Commanders call it again. They won the toss and elected to receive. But the incident left an unsettling buzz in the crowd. The Commanders' first drive was a masterclass in offensive precision. Quarterback Sam Howell connected with Terry McLaurin on a deep pass that electrified the crowd. As the team moved methodically down the field, the fog seemed to pulse and shimmer with every play. When Brian Robinson Jr. punched the ball into the end zone for a touchdown, the roar of the crowd was deafening. Yet, as the team celebrated, many fans noticed that the scoreboard glitched, momentarily displaying 0-100 Q4. Detroit responded with equal ferocity. Jared Goff orchestrated a drive that showcased the Lions' relentless grit. Amon-Ra St. Brown made an impossible one-handed catch, and rookie running back Jahmyr Gibbs sliced through the Commanders' defense with surgical precision. The Lions scored, and the game was tied. But as the second quarter began, time itself seemed to unravel. The fog thickened, obscuring parts of the field. The clock on the scoreboard began to stutter, sometimes speeding up, sometimes slowing down. Fans reported their phones and watches behaving strangely. Some showing it was still morning, others showing it was late at night. Commentators struggled to stay composed as their broadcast equipment malfunctioned, producing strange feedback loops and distorted audio. By halftime, the score was tied at 14 apiece. Players and coaches noticed something bizarre. No one felt tired. The typical physical toll of the game was absent. No cramps, no heavy breathing. It was as if their bodies had entered a state of perpetual readiness. Stranger still, no one could recall drinking water or eating anything. Even more unsettling, the fans in the stands reported a similar phenomenon. No hunger, no thirst, no fatigue. The second half began, and the anomalies multiplied. Every play was more extraordinary than the last. Receivers leaped to impossible heights to make catches. Defensive players seemed to defy physics, changing direction mid-air to make tackles. Field goals from distances that should have been impossible sailed through the uprights with ease. As the game entered the fourth quarter, tied at 35-35, whispers spread among the players and the fans. Some claimed they saw figures moving in the fog, shadowy beings watching from the sidelines. Others said they heard faint whispers, like voices calling their names from just beyond the stadium. One of the referees swore he saw a duplicate of himself standing on the opposite sideline, staring back at him with unblinking eyes. With 3 seconds left on the clock, the Commanders lined up for a game-winning field goal. Joey Sly stepped up, his face grim with concentration. The ball was snapped. The hold was perfect, and the kick soared through the air. But just as it reached the uprights, time froze. The crowd, the players, the officials, all were locked in place. their expressions suspended mid-cheer or groan. Only the fog moved, swirling around the field like a living thing. A deep, resonant voice echoed through the stadium, but no one could say where it came from. "This is not the end," it said. "It is the beginning." And then, just as suddenly as it began, the game reset. The players were back in the locker rooms, preparing for the first quarter. The fans were filing into the stands as if it was still hours before kickoff. But something was different. The fog was gone, replaced by a faint, golden haze that seemed to hover just above the field. The game began again. And once more, the Commanders scored on their opening drive. But this time, the Lions' response was different. Plays unfolded in ways no one remembered. Strategies changed. The crowd, while excited, carried a collective unease. Déjà vu rippled through the stadium, and some fans whispered that they had seen this game before. No one knows how many times the game has played out. The players continue to fight, their memories wiped after each reset. The fans return, drawn by an inexplicable urge to witness the game, even as they sense they've been there before. Broadcasters report highlights that no one can quite recall watching, and analysts endlessly debate the significance of the game that defies time itself. Some say the fog was a gateway, an experiment by forces beyond comprehension. Others believe the game became a battleground for something greater, a struggle between fate and free will played out on the gridiron. All anyone knows for sure is this: the game isn't over. It may never be.